the unsurpassed, deep, profound, subtle, wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million eons is difficult to encounter. Now that I've come to receive and hold it within my sight and hearing, I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual meaning. I need another one. This one is missing page. Thank you. 可是没有我们要的那个。Huh? Page 10? Oh, yes. You are on page 9. Yes, right. Okay, good evening. We are very happy to be here. Let me introduce you, Dharma Master Jing Den. Dharma Master Jing Den right now teaches at girls' school, virtue studies. And also she's helping at the DRBU library. She speaks Spanish. Some of you met her in the past. She did a lot of translation work. And she's one of the vigorous nuns at CTTB. Every time I listen to her Dharma talks, I feel inspired. She's very diligent. She's a very good practitioner. And I hope that she will share her insights with all of you this evening. And my name is Henzhe. I don't know what to say. I've been here many times. And every time I come here, I love this place. The monastery is really comfortable and has a very good energy. Every time I was here, I could sit in meditation doing very well. So I hope you experienced the same thing as I did.
And I want to add something.
Okay, please use the microphone.
I learned a lot from Dharma Master Jue. I hope that everyone share what I learned from Dharma Master, and she has bring today wonderful Dharma for everyone.
The Avatamsaka Sutra is the sutra lecture for the practitioners who have bodhisattva roots. You know, it's and especially for the 10 grounds, it's a very difficult text to understand. And why it's difficult? Because we are not there. At least for me, okay. The first ground bodhisattvas see the reality, so that's why the bodhisattvas feel great joy. And the second ground bodhisattva, they understand everything arises from this mind. So I better to remove all the defilements, the stains, you know, cover that purity. So they work on observing the precepts. And then the third ground, they practice patience. How do you emit light? How do you have wisdom? You have to uphold the precepts. After the precepts are followed, then practitioners have a very good foundation to start with. And then be patient with all kinds of doubts. You just have to follow the dharmas and practice, then you will get benefits. So they made a vow, we want to help all beings. How can we help beings? They thought about it during the meditation. They meditate and contemplate, how can I benefit others? So they found, I can only rely on the wisdom of the Buddhas. So they started to learn the Dharma. They learned a lot. That's why they attained the 4 dhyana states. And now we are here to investigate the 4th ground. The 4th ground is blazing wisdom. So from samadhi, from precept and samadhi, then a practitioner will develop wisdom. Where is the wisdom? It's in our nature. So we have to activate the inherent wisdom. So let it shine, let it come forth. It doesn't come from outside. So a lot of people, they misunderstand the direction. They're going outside to seek for the benefits. Actually, everything is in our nature. We have to return the direction and examine what's going on in our mind. Anything not accord with the precepts, anything will lead us to go off the mind, that's wrong. We have to get back and get back. So realizing this, a bodhisattva will develop the wisdom. And so the wisdom can blaze. And last week, you discover, you investigate a very, well, maybe let's say it this way. The 4th ground, what do the bodhisattvas study? For each ground, the bodhisattva have to study different things. And on the 4th ground, they have to learn many, many different dharmas. And altogether, it's called 37 practices to enlightenment. For each practice, this will lead the bodhisattva to become awakened. And basically, there are these 37 different dharmas, but you could summarize into 7 categories. The first one is the 4 stations of mindfulness, and that was discussed last week. Probably because of the weather, a lot of you. How many of you were here last week? Raise your hand, please. Okay, oh, pretty good. So the 4 mindfulness, the 4 right mindfulness or the station of mindfulness help living beings to have the right views. We think not many people realize our bodies are impure. Not many people realize that the perception leads to suffering. The reception, okay, our perception leads to suffering. And the mind is impermanent. Our thoughts constantly change. And for the phenomena, the Dharma, there's no intrinsic nature. We don't understand these, so we get upside down. And we always entertain to satisfy our needs. So after study the mindfulness, when all these upside down thoughts are removed, then a practitioner can use your full strength, vigor, to create, to accumulate right practices. And that's the vigor. So the 4 right efforts is the second category. And when you know to always be vigorous, then what happened? You can develop spiritual powers. And that's the third category. And when you have the spiritual powers, you'll be at ease at any kinds of a situation. Then you will develop that intuitive insights. You don't need any information, data. You will know what's the right thing to do, because there will be rules in your nature, in your cultivation. Roots, like the trees, a tree has a very deep root, can grow tall and strong. And then when you have the roots, then you can really draw near to that substance that has the intuition. That's the 5 powers. And the 6th one is the 7 Bodhi shares. The 7 Bodhi shares is the substance of that intuition. And when one realizes that substance and can practice, can exercise that intuition, and a practitioner will more activate on it. And that's the Eightfold Path. Altogether, these 7 categories make the 37 limbs or factors to enlightenment. Okay, so by this simple explanation, I hope people can have a rough idea about the 37 practices. So when we understand the 4 stations of mindfulness, then our mind should dwell on it. At this point, I'd like to point it out that for this, for mindfulness, the text always talking about we need to contemplate. The Bodhisattva contemplates. Why contemplates was mentioned all the time? Because in our practice, we do need contemplation. Looking at the life of the Buddha, when he found out there are suffering in the world, then he wanted to understand the cause for suffering. He examines the life, he experienced the life outside of the palace for ordinary people, and then understand the cause for the suffering. If we don't contemplate, if we don't pay attention, we wouldn't know how upside down we are. We have been, or we will be, right? You know, why it's hard? Because we have that seeds latent there, or have been with us for so long. So every time when a situation happens, we will act upon by our tendencies. So to understand how upside down we are is not enough. We have to use vigor. We have to be very, very mindful. We have that determination. We want to say goodbye to the old me. I want to say goodbye to suffering, because every time we listen to the lecture, we say how to end suffering and attain bliss is our wish. It's not addressed only when we listen to the lecture. It should be all the time in our mind. How can I end suffering? I will never, never be sad. I will never be worried. I will never be grieved, you know. There's a way, because Prince Siddhartha already demonstrated that. There's a way to end suffering. So a practitioner use vigor, the right efforts to cut off the unwholesome thoughts, the unwholesome actions, and unwholesome deeds, and practice the wholesome thoughts, and practice the wholesome action and the deeds, then this person mind will be soft, will be regulated. And when the mind is soft and regulated and in harmony, then this person can develop that spiritual power. Okay, so, and when the practitioner practices the 7 Bodhi shares, this person already sees the Tao. And then the Eightfold Path is where you apply cultivation, the efforts of a cultivation. So basically that's how, what it means about 37 practices to enlightenment. Does anybody have any questions or comments so far? How many of you have been attending Saturday lecture or Friday lecture without any interruption for a year? Raise your hand. It's not easy. I'm not saying that you are lazy, okay? Because as a lay people, you have a lot of things to do. But if you really have a determination, Dharma can help me. Every time I attend a lecture, I will become awakened more. I will, discover more, and I have more energy. I have more support to go on with my practice. So I want to go every day, every week, no matter how the weather condition is, or no matter how my physical condition is, or other things. I just want to go. That's vigor, non-stop. And Venerable Master always mentioned that for the vigor, we need to have a Sen Jing Jing and a Xin Jing Jing. You have to use your physical, strength and also your mental strength. Sometimes you can be very vigorous in appearance, but inside, mama hoo, lazy, okay, I'm good enough, okay. Even though I still have how many mantras that I need to recite, or how many bows I need to do, or how many works I need to do, I think I have done enough, pretty good. I have done pretty good today. Okay, I can call it a night. So I just go into my comfortable sleeping bag. And that your practice stops. And what makes your practice successful? You have to go all the way to the end when the water is boiled. When the water is boiled, then your work is done. A lot of time we just let it boil and then go away and then come back and then go away. And then that way the water will not be boiled, right? Yes. Wow. 你很厉害哦. We shouldn't make distinctions between successful or failure, actually. I think to be successful in your cultivation is that you can really control your mind. You are not driven by your desires. You are not driven by your greed. You are not driven by your ignorance. If you are able to control your mind and be the master of yourself, not be a slave by, listen to the commands to your desires, listen to the command to your karma. That's a successful practitioner. We can all do that, but we don't understand how powerful our mind, our true mind is. We always, slack off and give a lot of excuses. And so, when I studied the Buddha Dharma in the early years, I heard all living beings have Buddha nature. The reason why after you study Buddha Dharma, you cannot become a bodhisattva or arhat or a hira is because you are lazy. I don't think that's a problem. I think to be lazy is very common. All ordinary people are lazy. But after you study the Buddha Dharma, you realize you want to end suffering and attain bliss. You want to follow the path of the Buddha, you have to follow his teachings too. You cannot just wear your sash and say, I'm a Buddhist. Buddhist doesn't show. Buddhists, act, embody the good qualities. That's something that for the beginners, it's very hard to realize. Okay?
觉法师讲了很多了，要不要我们念一念这个经文
？Okay, sure.
我们今天的经文 ，Okay, let's read together the passage that we're going to discuss today. Page 8 for the Chinese. Let's do in Chinese first, right? Okay, let's do in Chinese first, and then we read in English. 福赐慈菩萨。为生诸恶不善法，为不生故，欲生勤精进，发心经断；宜生诸恶不善法，为断故，欲生勤精进，发心经断；为生诸善法，为生故，欲生勤精进，发心憎恨心。宜生诸善法，为助不息故，修令增广故，欲生勤精进，发心正行。Okay. 英文 Okay. Furthermore, to prevent all evil and unwholesome dharmas, which have not yet arisen from arising, that Bodhisattva wishes to bring forth diligent vigor and makes up his mind to properly cut them off, to cut off all evil and unwholesome dharmas which have already arisen. He wishes to bring forth diligent vigor and makes up his mind to properly cut them off in order to cause all wholesome dharmas which have not yet arisen to arise. He wishes to bring forth diligent vigor and makes up his mind to properly cultivate them, in order to cause all unwholesome dharmas which have already arisen to remain and not be lost. He cultivates to increase and extend them. He wishes to bring forth diligent vigor and makes up his mind to properly cultivate them. Okay. So the passage that we're going to discuss today here is very clear, talking about the practice of the Bodhisattva. The Bodhisattva avoid to practice the unwholesome dharma, and the Bodhisattva cultivate diligently and vigorously on practicing of the wholesome dharma. That's what we learn every day and what we hear every day, right? The wholesome dharma we have to practice, and wholesome dharma we have to avoid it. What are the wholesome dharma? The 10 good deeds. 3 come from the body, 3 from the mind, and 4 from the mouth. I'm sure that everyone knows that, right? And the unwholesome dharma is the opposite of the good deeds. And we always hear in the Dhamma talk of Rainbow Master that we should do the good and avoid all evil. So we always hear that a child of 3 years old knows that, but an old man of 80 years old cannot do it, right? So it's not easy. We know it, but put them on practice take time, okay? But still, we have to learn from Bodhisattva and to practice the Dharma. But one thing very important is we have to acknowledge what are the bad habits that we have. We have to get rid of the bad habit. But sometimes we know it, but we cannot do it. Couple years ago, I met a lady, and she told me, "Oh, Dhamma Master, don't tell me be patient with the people. When my anger come up, I cannot control it. I have no control on my temper." And I told her that time, I think she has improved. I told her that time, if you are willing to change, Dhamma Protector, Buddha, Bodhisattva will give you a hand. I'm sure we have to have the willingness to change our bad to good. Once we put it in mind, we got help from good knowing advisors, from Bodhisattva and Buddha and Dhamma Protector. But if we don't acknowledge all the bad habits and we just keep going, "Oh, I cannot do it, I cannot change, don't tell me to change." But with this behavior, we never change. If we don't take the first step, nobody can help us. We will get help if we take the first step. And good knowing advisor will appear once we want to change from bad to good. I think that person, she kept working very hard. At the end, she said, "Okay, I try." But I think only in that way we can continue with the cultivation. I want to share also in this chant session that we are in the CTTB. We are still during the chant session. And I saw a question posted at the entrance of our chant hall. And I want to ask the audience, should a meditator fall asleep during the sitting meditation? Okay, tell me whatever comes to your mind. We can open the discussion here. Okay, here the lady. You said no. Why? Uh-huh. Of course, yes. We should focus our mind, right? Okay. Any other comment? Yes? Mm-hmm. Okay. To sleep, to rest, right? Okay, okay. Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah, different reason, right? Okay, we come to this lady and then to the gentleman. Yes.
Able to make to that channel, so maybe better to stay in the channel than any place else. So, so maybe that we can say he or she doesn't slip accidentally, that can be a step. But if from the legal point of view, we should avoid that.
Should avoid that. Yeah, it's correct. Okay, the gentleman. Yeah, a lot of reasons.
Because it's possible to be in a state where you are asleep or you haven't lost your consciousness. You are still aware, you are still present. So, but if anyone sees you, maybe you have your head like this or like this. But you have not lost your consciousness. You are aware. Your aware is with you. So that's a very, very broad, very big question.
Yeah. Okay. Any other comment? Okay. I want to share, I heard in the past, okay, not from Buddhism, an explanation about the sleep, deep sleep, and awareness, okay? There's a big separation. And between, we can call alpha, beta, and gamma, okay? Alpha is you just sit down, you calm down your mind, but you are aware of everything, okay? If you go down and down, you fall asleep and you go to deep sleep, okay? In deep sleep, you are not aware. We have to avoid it. That's why in the level, the first two levels, the alpha and gamma, we are aware. Everything surrounds us. That's the meditation state. We should keep in that state. And for this explanation, in South America, we have English school. They use this method to teach English. They don't have classroom. They just have small room, and they put and lazy boy chair, okay? The person just lay down and put the audio and to calm down the person, and then the lesson start. That's the method that they use. And they are very successful. And the people can learn. Because in that state, you are aware, but your mind is calmed down. So you can assimilate all the learning, and your mind is prepared, okay, to receive information. So why we have to sit as much as we can? That's the way that we calm down our mind and we are ready to receive information, to receive the teaching, okay, and everything that we want to learn. Okay, for this point, I want to share. Okay, before that, the lady mentioned here, okay, if the person is very tired, we allow the person to sleep, right? And a lot of people share this idea, oh, I've been working all day, so once I sit in the town hall, of course, I fall asleep. That's logical, right? We give excuse to ourselves. But you know what happened to the great master in the past? They do the hard work during the day, carrying water and planting and working on the field and everything. And they just sit in meditation when they rest. They don't fall asleep, okay? And I think this point, we can learn from them. Of course, we are still ordinary people. We need to sleep, okay? But we try our best. And what I want to share is, in this transition, one person shared with me that she fall asleep in the past a lot. When she get tired, she just fall asleep, and she told herself, I have to sleep a little bit, give me a break. When I recover the energy, as you said, and I will be ready to sit for the next incense, right? And when she saw the message that posted at the entrance of the sun hall, it said, why the meditator fall asleep? And Rainbow Master comment was, because the person doesn't use the sincere mind to practice meditation. And she realized, oh, I should use the sincere mind to put into practice. When she realized that point, she changed herself. She doesn't fall asleep again. You know, everything comes from our mind. You have to prepare your mind to do that. If you tell yourself, I cannot change, this I am in this way, you never change. But you have to tell yourself, I'm willing to change. I'm willing to get rid of the bad and to become good. You will walk on that path. Why? Because you're giving good information to yourself. Even in the transition, you want to sit to meditate, you have to tell yourself, it's not a lot of chances that I can sit. I have to work all day. I have only 30 minutes or 1 hour. I have to appreciate the time that I have. I want to sit. Do it. You will sit. And you will be aware. And you won't fall asleep. Only if we put our body mind and in front of you and keep it on yourself, you will keep going forward. I think it's very important. Everything comes from our mind. It depends how you think about it and how you receive the information, okay? If all the time we give ourselves excuse, we stay there until you get enlightened and you go forward, okay? I think this is another point that's very important. Yes?
You can't sit and you cannot sleep. If you sleep, someone else tapping your shoulder, That's why you're afraid. That's why you don't sleep and tapping the shoulder right away, before. I don't know now.
Well,
We do. We still tap people's shoulder.
yes.
Because we want to help people to cultivate. We don't want them to waste time. So because you are afraid of to be tapped, so you don't go into the chan hall? No.
Because the practice is very compassionate and they hit you, okay? It's because the compassion, okay? And help you to be aware, that's it. But a lot of bad things come from the sleeping. Once you fall asleep, you fold your back, and all the position that you cannot stay, and you will be in that way. Why? Because you are not aware. So you fall down and you do a lot of things, and it's not proper to do the meditation. And we have to change it. And even when the person snore, the neighbor get afflicted, right? Tell that person to be quiet. And the proctor has to stand up again and hit the person, And a lot of things come if we fall asleep. But we hear also from the Buddhist story, 会济法师, huh? 会济法师 fall asleep when he went to visit Dao Xun Lu Shi, the precept master, to have the meal with him, and he just fall asleep. Ji Gong Chan Shi, he can eat pigeons, and he split out live pigeons. But all these days are inconceivable. And we don't understand that, right? We are ordinary people. We just do whatever told us to do and follow the rule is better. But one day, when you are awakened, you will understand all the amazing states from the Great Master, right?
I think it's worthwhile, since you mentioned Patriarch Master Kuei-ji, to tell his story, because how many of you know about this story? Raise your hand, please. 2, 3, yeah.
Yeah, it's good to tell the story.
I think Dao Master Kuei-ji's example, is really, really good. We can always, recollect of his example and be vigorous. Venerable Master told the story of Dao Master Kuei-ji. I never found it anywhere in history. I think Venerable Master knows somehow. And he told this story very interesting. He said, on the trip to India to take the to try to get the sutras back to China, Dao Master Xuanzhuang, he saw a cave on the way, and then he went into the cave, and there was a lot of garbage and rats and the duns, and then there was this object. People couldn't tell. He couldn't tell whether it's a stone man or a wooden carvings things, and because on that thing there was a nest, and a lot of birds were chirping, and on the body there were very thick dust, and then Dao Master Xuanzhuang later realized that was a practitioner meditating there. But this meditator was so calm and in samadhi, so he didn't come out to the point that the birds made a nest, and then little birds were there living. So it was no matter, Dao Master Xuanzhuang wouldn't know how long he had been sitting there. And then he used a handbell to get him out of his samadhi. And this Dao Master Kuei-ji, he was an ancient person, and he talked, the language, the language used. But Dao Master Xuanzhuang, he was so intelligent, he could understand him, and then realize that the reason why this meditator is sitting there, because he was waiting the red sun Buddha to come to the world. And red sun Buddha was referring to Shakyamuni Buddha. And then Dao Master Xuanzhuang said, but Shakyamuni Buddha already entered Nirvana for 1,000 years, and you have been sitting here waiting to help him to propagate Buddha Dharma. No. And then he said, huh, really? I missed the time? Oh no, gosh, okay, I might as well just go back to the samadhi meditating and waiting for my Maitreya Buddhas to come to the world. When people ask the question, Venerable Master, how long will we have the Maitreya Buddha to come to speak Dharma, and then we can all become Buddhas? Master talked, and then we couldn't figure out a really exact figure. It will be a long, long time later. So Dao Master Xuanzhuang said, why don't you just help me to propagate Buddha Dharma? I need someone. I need people. And so this was how long Dao Master Kuei-ji was sitting there. Okay, I want to ask you, we talk about this right efforts. What do you think? What is the element that a practitioner can be really vigorous, non-stop. What is the nature of that vigor? Anybody? Be vigorous. To practice non-stop. To practice, always be mindful to cut off all your unwholesome habits. And even though the unwholesome habits has not arisen yet, and you will still pay attention, watch very closely, all these bad things, and all the good things, the wholesome dharmas you want to practice without missing a chance. All the time, anytime, there is a time for you to give, there's a time for you to practice patience, you will not lose temper, you will not regret, oh, how come I talked back? How come I was so mean to her? Okay. What is the essence of that? Huh? Have a good roots, the roots of a goodness. Yeah, you need the good roots for sure. But sometimes people have good roots, they can still slack off. I'm good enough. Let these people to work hard. they can make more progress. I can just now go to enjoy a cup of coffee and chat with my friends on internet. There are these kind of people. They have good roots. We cannot say they don't. They have, but they still don't. Like Maitreya Buddha. He was the example. He was the fellow cultivator with the Shakyamuni Buddha. But because of the vigor of Shakyamuni Buddha became the Buddha 10 kalpas ahead of him. Okay, why? Maitreya Buddhas liked friends. He always hang out with all these noble friends. And he likes, people who have intelligence, and then he liked to chat with them. Does that sound familiar? And that's an example. A practitioner can become arhats easily. I shouldn't say easily. I repent. No. It's able. People can become arhat. But to become a Buddha, you need to help all these people, all these beings who have affinity with you, life after life. Shakyamuni Buddha, or Prince Siddhartha, he manifests this way, life after life. He made a vow, I want to save all beings. If there's a one being has affinity with me, not liberated, I will not rest. Because of that, he became a Buddha. Buddha practiced vigor life after life. Okay. So the nature of being vigor is 2 words in Chinese: Yong, Han. Yong means courage, courageous, brave. That means I will not entertain any defiled dharma. I will never practice any unwholesome dharma. Han means 精纯. I don't know how to translate Han. Han, like 凶悍, fierce. Is a good translation? Han. 精纯 means you are pure. Your practice is pure. There's no wu ji, like neutral, not good or not bad. You don't make discrimination. You just being pure. You could say you are determined. You are focused. You are focused to do all the good deeds. You will not miss a chance to let any beings down. Like a lot of people, they say, call me 24 hours, anytime. I'll be ready to come, to help. I will always answer the phone. But some people, they put a tag on their doors. Don't knock the door after 8. I need rest. There are these kind of people. Some people, they are not available when they are needed. So to be vigorous, that means you will focus to do anything, even a small act of kindness, you will not miss. You will not say, let other people to do. I have virtue enough, or I have too many things to do. I have a friend. He every day, anybody ask help, he would always solve that person's problem on the same day. If he couldn't do that, to help any in an actual way, he will still dedicate his practice to those people. Okay. So from this essence, the nature of this vigor, you know that vigor only involves with wholesomeness. If you are very vigorous, but you are doing bad things, that's not right. Right? Because that's not pure. You want to be pure. There's only, you will always use kind words, the wise advice, and do the right things. You will not do the wrong things. But ordinary people, we always have mixture. Sometimes we tell people the truth. Sometimes we hide something from others. We will not share. So remember, Venerable Master, every time he talked, he said, okay, today I'm going to He Pan Tuo Zu. I will tell you all I know. I will never make any reservation. Like all these famous shops, they don't share their recipe. Why? Because if I tell you my recipe, my secrets, then you'll be the same as me. No. How can I do that? I'll be an idiot. No. Buddhism, we say, lights, they reflect upon each other. They will not impede any other lights. You can all shine together. Your radiance will not be dim if another people radiating, right? We don't understand that's the reality. The reality is that, everybody can practice to the fullest potentiality. It's not when you are knowledgeable, when you are successful, when you are powerful, then I don't have that power. No, it's not. So this is why when I study the Buddha Dharma, I got the benefits. I want to help everybody to get the same benefits. I'm happy because I know the direction. I will share that. Right? So the 4 right efforts also called the 4 cutting off. You remember the 4 right efforts talking about you have to deal with the laxness. So for the unwholesome deeds, we have to deal with them. We have to do away with them. If I was jealous, I don't want to see people to be successful. I don't want to see people so happy. I don't want to see people so at ease. I'm jealous. I cannot endure. She's doing right. Oh, so I'll give wrong information. I will show the wrong direction. I will cause her to suffer, to spend more efforts. Otherwise, I cannot be happy. Okay? I was like this because I don't understand. Everybody has the same substance. Everybody should be equal. I shouldn't be that jealous anymore. Okay, I want to change. I want to change from now. Okay, anytime I'm jealous, I'll practice, 随喜功德 to follow along people's merits. When you understand the universal worthy, the Samantha's Bodhisattva's practice, you always feel happy for other people's success. Then you will not, you will end one suffering, one kind of suffering, to be jealous. Or if I have no sense of remorse, every time I did something, I think, oh, they deserve it. And I cause people to suffer. I cause people to be challenged. Oh, I feel so happy. And also the thing that Dao Master Jingden taught, like torpor. Every time you sit in meditation, torpor, sleepiness is also one of the unwholesome deeds that, basically we have a lot of fetters. So all these fetters give us heat. We don't have calmness. We lost that calmness. We lost that freedom, and we will act upon our fetters. All these heat. I'm not comfortable. I'm not satisfied. There's this urge to release that tension. All these need to be removed. So, we all have a work to do. But we have to, like Dao Master Jingden said, we have to recognize where we should, spend our efforts, where we should pay attention. Most of the time, ordinary people pay attention to outside, how people are successful, how people are how rich people are, how, friends, so many friends this person had, what kind of a power this person have, or, reputation. We don't pay attention to the problem in our nature. Okay, so when you really want to have the right efforts, you need to know the direction. And after we study the 4 stations of mindfulness, basically it's no self. The reason why we have all these things, I really don't feel comfortable when people point to me, when people, talked about me. And why? Because I have the attachment to this self. There's no self. But we don't understand this. We have upside down perception. So we think, this is me. When people see me being tapped, I feel embarrassed. When people know, oh, Henze is snoring, shame, shame, shame. If we can, always, we need to contemplate. We need to know about ourselves, our habits, when we feel happy, when we feel sad, and is it really necessary? Talking about wholesome and unwholesome, in the commentary it says, the reality is wholesomeness. Anything is not reality, is unwholesomeness. So when we talk about the Mahayana 37 practices to enlightenment, actually everything we should change, we should let go of. Only when we go back to our origin to know about our true mind, that's wholesomeness. So anything not related to our true mind, we should pay less attention, the least attention. Well, this remark, it depends on how sincere a practitioner is. If this person doesn't care about, to end suffering and attain bliss, then you can forget about what I said, because, the outside world is so full of excitement, full of pleasure. Why sitting there, fold your legs, endure the pain of the legs, and endure the cold and the heat? Doesn't make sense. But if you can endure the pain, the suffering, then you will be free. Nobody can challenge you. And you don't rely on conditions. You will always know. Why? Because our nature knows. Our nature understands. Right now, we don't know. We always rely on information. And we could be very emotional when the situation change. So this is why vigor is really important. If you can, be courageous enough all the time, pay attention to your nature, what's going on, what are you thinking, what are you talking about, what are you doing right now. Okay, another thing we can talk about is the how can you bring forth, how can you do the to cause all wholesome dharmas to arise. How can you always do the good deeds? You need to have that wish. I want to do good. I don't want to hurt other people's feelings. I don't want to miss a chance to help others. I don't want to miss a chance to make a difference in the world. Right? So you have that wish. You have that wish. So there's this, in order to cause all wholesome dharmas which have not yet arisen to arise, he wishes to bring forth diligent vigor. So this wish is really important. And you need to have that diligent vigor. It's very sharp. That vigor is very sharp in the mind. You want to have that all kinds of all wholesome dharmas to manifest on you all the time. And in order to cause all wholesome dharmas which have already arisen to remain and not be lost, and to increase and to extend. How? How can you make it happen? So this is the next level. Earlier, we already understand about the wholesome dharmas, and we cause them to arise with diligent vigor and determination. So they are not lost, and you are not you don't go backwards. And because of this, you have that wish, and you dwell on that, on those wholesome dharmas. So for those wholesome dharmas, it will be very clear. They are very clear. There's no obscurity. You don't argue about, maybe this could be later. This could be done later. You don't have any obscurity in your mind. You are very clear. Have you noticed your fellow cultivator? Any one of that always show a very clear mind to grasp the moment, the momentum. When the momentum arises, your fellow cultivator never missed the chance to grasp and act upon it and help and make a difference. Because this person is not distracted by other conditions. In your mind, always, I want to be very clear. These are the things I want to do. Other things are not important. How many of you already have this kind of mind? I don't want to go to a party. I don't want to do this. I want to help. You know, when I became a nun, I heard from my fellow cultivators what they did when they are high schoolers. One of my fellow cultivators said, "Oh, on weekends we always go to the orphanage. We always, play with all these orphans, and we help them to make clothes, and she talked about a lot of things. I was really happy for her, and I feel ashamed about myself. I really wasted a lot of time. But a lot of people, they were born that way. They came to this world, have a mission. They have no obscurity. They have no, they are very clear about what they want to do, what they like to do. Some people, they have their mission. I want to cook good food. Every time they cook, they are happy to share that good food. They have no obscurity. I'm not talking about all you have to do is attending the lectures and reciting the mantra. There are all kinds of works are necessary in our society. So you should find out the calling for your life. Okay? You don't have to go to, to look what other people are doing. Ask yourself, sitting quietly, what can I do? What shall I do? I see a lot of children, they are doing good things now. And they joined the group and they made the world different. And so can you. You can do that. So when you have no obscurity and it's very clear about all those good dharmas and you dwell on it, so you will never forget about them. Okay, that's the third level. The first one, you don't lose them, you don't retreat. The second one is they are very clear, they manifest all the time, without a mistake. And then you don't forget about them. And then you practice them all the time to the point you can perfect them. There's no flaw in your practice, so you can make it perfect. Like Guanyin Bodhisattva, her compassion is perfect and without conditions. Okay, so this need to be practiced. Even though, every time we talk about this 4 right efforts, we think, it's very easy, we understand. To cut off the bad things, and even the bad things has not arisen, then we will, never let it to come up. And then the right things, to do right things, and then to do more, to develop it, to extend it, so to the perfect. It's not easy. You really, really need to be courageous. I don't know. It's hard. I'm not asking you to do right now. But if you really understand, vigor is a very important element in our practice, then starting from this evening, you made a vow. I'm going to try my best. Okay? Story time. Any questions or comments? I know we need to tell stories. Otherwise, in the future, we will not be invited. No, I'm kidding. I'd like to tell you a story about the second Petra. Who's the second Petra after Bodhidharma? Shen Guang, right? Hui Ke. Dharma Master Shen Guang, he was very intelligent. And he, he spoke the Dharma to the point that the lotus will come out from the ground. And so everybody liked his lecture. And when he left home, I think very early, but when he was 32 years old, he started to real practice, genuine practice. He said goodbye to the civilization and all these knowledge views, and he cultivate and in a mountain. And every day he would sit there in meditation, and he hoped to use the skill in meditation to solve the problem of birth and death. So how many years? 8 years. He spent in the mountain for 8 years, and one day, in his samadhi, Dharma Master saw a celestial being in front of him and told him, you're going to harvest the fruition. Why are you staying here? Okay. The great path is not far away. You should go to the south. So he told his teacher. His teacher was Baojing Chanshi. Baojing Chanshi was the one who wrote the meditation, how to meditate. Okay, and so his teacher said, "Oh, then you will be enlightened. Go quickly." And then they figure out in the south there's this Bodhidharma. He sitting in a he was sitting meditation in Shongarsan, the Bear Ears Mountain. And Venerable Master talked about the experiences Dharma Master Senguang with the Bodhidharma, because he was so arrogant, and he, one day when he met Bodhidharma, Patriarch Bodhidharma, he didn't recognize him, and he used the 2 metal beads, how do you say, 2个铁蛋, okay, and he was playing, and to practice, to train his skill, and then he used those metal beads and to, hit Bodhidharma, and then his 2 teeth came off. And so he was so arrogant, he didn't recognize a good and wise advisor. So then later, he realized that he would be the person to teach him. So he followed him to the mountain. And every day, he attended on the Bodhidharma and wished to learn the Dharma from him. Did Bodhidharma teach him? No, he didn't pay attention to him. Why? Is it because that Bodhidharma want to reserve his wisdom and not to teach him? No, because I think everybody needs, to have a ripe condition. When the time is not ripe, this person will not get enlightened. If you are not ready, if you don't want to, if you are still interested in other things, you will really, really have a time. You need time to evolve your understanding about the Dharma, about the principle. So Dharma Master Senguang stayed with the Bodhidharma for 9 years. And one night, it was in the last month of the year, and that night, he stood outside of the place of Bodhidharma and standing there in the air, in the open air. And it became, snowing very heavily. And the more the snow accumulated on the ground, the more respectful Dharma Master Sengguang was. And after the whole night, it was almost dawn, the snow was already about his height, his waist. And then Bodhidharma was pitiful and asked him, "Why did you stand in the snow for so long?" He said, "Dharma Master, please teach me the Dharma." And Bodhidharma said, he said, "The way is so broad, and how can you, like with this arrogance, you cannot endure what is hard to endure, you cannot yield to what is hard to yield, and a practitioner like you, with a little virtue, with a little wisdom, and with arrogance and casualty, you wish to realize the true vehicle, you would just spend toil in vain. If you wish to understand, to realize the Dharma, until the snow becomes red." So Dharma Master Sengguang, he was not an ordinary practitioner. He always used, the cultivators, the lofty cultivators' exhortation to urge himself on. And so upon hearing this, his mind to seek for the Dharma already comes to the fullest point. And then he, without a second thought, he just used his precept knife. Old cultivators, ancient cultivators, they always bring a precept knife. If that person violates the precepts, would use that knife to warn himself or herself. So he just took out his precept knife on him to cut his left arm off. Ugh. He didn't have that thought. He just want to know the true Dharma, to become awakened. His urge, I want to become awakened. How can I become awakened? Please teach me. Okay. And the heavier snow falls down, the more respectful he was in the snow. He didn't move at all. He was so respectful, standing there, waiting for his teacher to teach him. So when his teacher challenged him, he, without any thought, delayment, he just, showed his sincerity. This is something that we talk about vigorous, no obscurity. This is what I want. I can just forsake, I can renounce my body. I want Dharma. So because of his arm was, cut off, and that was the snow was stained by red blood, and he scooped a handful of snow and showed Dharma Master, please. The snow is red now. And so Bodhidharma said, he saw Dharma Master Sengguang's sincerity, and he knew he's the vessel of the Dharma. So he said, all these Buddhas in the past, for the sake of seeking the path, they can put down their body, and now you cut off your arm in front of me, you are like them. and you can achieve what they have achieved. So from then on, his name was changed to Huike. And so after he said his teacher recognized him as the vessel for the Dharma, and he said, so the Dharma seal of all the Buddhas, can that be heard? I want to hear. What is the Dharma seal? Please teach me. He said, no human beings can attain. If you still have a human mind, you will not realize that. You want to change. Let go of all the desires, let go of all pleasures, and then you became a non-human being. Once, in the past you were a human, you have a human mind, but now you do the other way wrong. You want to give. You don't want to entertain, the desires for the self. You're always thinking about others. So, and the Buddha means not a human being. And a monastic, once in the past, this person was a human, but now they want to follow the precepts. Okay, so he said, a human being cannot attain the Dharma seal of all Buddhas. Then he was kind of still anxious. He said, my mind is not settled. Please help me to settle my mind. And Bodhidharma said, bring your mind. I'll help you to settle down. And then he stayed there and looked for his mind for a long, long time. And he said, I cannot find my mind. What do you think about this comment? In our mind, we can find a lot of dharmas. We have attachment to this, to that, to that, to that. We have so many attachments, preferences. And our minds, always linger on all these kind of things. But this person, in his mind, there's nothing but Dharma. So after he was recognized, and so he said, I cannot find my mind. His mind is empty. Because his mind was empty, so he could do that. Ordinary people, we have attachment to ourselves. How can we use a knife to only when it's a critical moment? Okay, right? I heard one nun, when she was secluded in a cave, and there was a snake and bit her, and right away she used a knife to cut her flesh off. I don't know whether this could be done by any ordinary people, even though in that critical moment, I don't know. It's hard. But when you cherish your body, your life, more than anything else but the Dharma, you only cherish your body with the Dharma. I still have so many Dharmas I want to learn. I want to know more. I don't want to die now. So you can cut your flesh off. I don't know. So when he tried to find his mind, he couldn't. And then Bodhidharma said, I already helped you to settle down your mind. All right. I don't know whether this is an interesting story, but when I first heard this story, I was crying, couldn't stop. I want to like him. I want to know Dharma. But after you understand the Dharma, you learn the Dharma, you need to practice. Understanding is not enough. So 4 right efforts is really, really important. If you understand the Dharma, you have no upside downness. You need to really work hard so that you will be one with the Dharma. Not the Dharma is Dharma and you are you. Okay, that won't work. Any questions, any comments? Everybody share one thing quickly, starting from Valerie. Sorry, Valerie. Anything. Okay, Connie. Louder so people can hear you. Okay. Tina? Oh, I don't know. The one next to Connie. Okay. Anybody else? I don't want to. Yes. Eventually it will be hard. Oh, okay. Don't feel bad after you hear this, you didn't take any action. You need to, I think always stay in the monastery, and there are all these fellow cultivators. You can always join the activities, I heard that our 2 students came to introduce Uganda, children of Uganda, right? So, are you going to do anything on this project too? Anyway, there are a lot of things that we can do. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody from upstairs like to share? You can talk in Vietnamese and people help you translate. Okay, if no other comments, we will conclude tonight. Let's do the transference. Okay, we put our palms together and dedicate the merit of this evening. May every living being, our minds as one and radiant with light, share the fruits of peace with hearts of goodness, luminous and bright. If people hear and see how hands and hearts can find in giving unity, may their minds awake to great compassion, wisdom, and to joy. May kindness find reward. May all who sorrow leave their grief and pain. May this boundless light break the darkness of their endless night. Because our hearts are one, this world of pain turns into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise.